Hi grade 4, welcome back for your second day working on your self-portrait. I know that many of you have not gotten to using our chalk pastels yet, so let's take a look at how we are going to complete the face and the neck. So we have drawn the basics of our self-portrait, and the next thing that we are going to do is begin with coloring in our face. Now we are going to do that with a specific technique and material. We're going to be using soft pastels. They come in these boxes. Please make sure that when you are finished with your soft pastels that they look exactly the same way as when you open your box. And then the other material that we're going to be using is called cornstarch. We have cornstarch mixed with water. And let me show you a little bit about how that's going to go. So for my face, I'm going to spread some of that chalk pastel. And boys and girls, because we're doing a Fauvistic style, we actually don't want it to look so realistic. But I will give you a tip. For your face, try to only use either warm colors or cool colors. The reason is because in this next step, you'll see that the colors will begin mixing together. Some of you may know through experience that when you mix together warm colors and cool colors, you end up with brown. We may not want that color on our face. I don't need to press so hard with my chalk pastels, just a really light coat. Not only that, but you can work in small patches too. I'm kind of putting some color in different places as I go. So I've covered mostly everything. You don't have to cover things perfectly because the next step is where you're going to smooth out your colors. In your tray, if you dip your finger in, I want you to rub your finger around. You're going to start to feel a sliminess to the cornstarch. That cornstarch is going to help the colors move around on your paper. So taking your finger, you are going to rub the color into your paper and around. When you start to feel your finger not sliding anymore, then it's time for you to dip and get more of our cornstarch mixture, blending those colors around in your face. Use your finger precisely to make sure that your color doesn't get into places you don't want it to be. You'll notice too that as I'm dipping my finger into the cornstarch mixture, that some of the chalk pastel is staying with the cornstarch. The reason that I've given you a flower palette is so that as you're working, you are able to keep some of your colors a little bit more clean by only dipping into a cornstarch mixture that you know is going to be safe for the colors you're using. So I'm going to keep working around here. And my orange is overtaking my yellow. That's okay. Okay, now that I'm done with this color, I can take some tissue, dry my finger off, and we can move on to the next things. You may want to do your neck in some different colors, or your hair in cooler colors. That is up to you. Okay, boys and girls, now that you have done your face and your neck using the chalk pastels, when hopefully you only used either warm colors or cool colors to complete, otherwise you're going to have a very brown, muddy looking face. The next thing you're going to do is complete your shirt, and also we need to learn about how we're going to do the background. So I'm going to move right onto the background because I think you guys understand how to work on the shirt. At your table baskets, you're going to see that you have oil pastels. And the first thing I want you to do is actually create some lines or outlines to Keep your soft pastels in some kind of order. If in your table basket you do not have the oil pastel colors that you would like to use, you are welcome to take a look at the plastic bags that have oil pastels on the front table. You might be able to find those kinds of colors you'd like there. Okay, the oil pastels just create some kind of barrier for you because I would like for you to use multiple different colors in your background. I almost like to go in Roy G. Biv order so that my colors, when I do blend them together, work well when they're blended. So for example, if I'm going to put green up here at the top, I know for a fact that the blue layer next to it is going to merge and blend well with that green. In your background, I want you to rub a little bit lighter than how you rubbed with your face. So we're not creating a lot of chalk dust on our paper in the background because this part of your drawing is going to take you a little bit of time to cover with our cornstarch. I haven't explained to you yet, but the reason that we use cornstarch is because our chalk pastels are powdery, and cornstarch has the ability to make things stiff. So when we add cornstarch to our chalk pastels, it almost like glues down all of that dust onto our paper so that later when we touch our artwork, our chalks stay in place where they're supposed to be, where we've placed them down on. So again, take your cornstarch water on your fingers and start with your lighter colors first. So I'm going to start with my yellow down here. I want to give you a helpful tip as well, boys and girls. I've seen some papers starting to rub up because you've been adding water and rubbing with your finger. Only work in an area once. So once I go over this yellow, I'm not going to go over it again because otherwise my paper is going to start to rub off. All right, boys and girls, I'm going to add my cornstarch to every area of my background to seal that chalk pastel down onto my paper. This is your last step today. So we are working to get all of our portrait chalked over. The face, the t-shirt, the hair, as well as the background. Okay, boys and girls, let's head to our desks and we can get started.